Makoma Lekalakala is the director at Earthlife Africa. Makoma, good afternoon to you. As I understand it, you believe this is the wrong decision, that we should not have more nuclear power. Why do you believe that?
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers. We are in disbelief around this announcement by the Minister of Electricity this morning. I mean, it shows that all the independent modeling shows that nuclear energy is neither affordable nor needed in our energy mix in the future. We know that electricity base load does not need nuclear energy, and in the absence of a finalized reviewed IRP 2023, today's announcement by government seems to be motivated by something else. Maybe great. And this morning, during the question time, when the minister was making announcement, queries about the true costs associated with nuclear energy were not met, and they were met with non-answers. But the more worrying issue is that this announcement, we expected that from the National Energy Regulator of South Africa, and we're not hearing from the National Energy Regulator, because they, during when there was an application around, the minister made an application around this, the resultant from NESA was that they're giving them a suspensive conditions that they must fulfill or answer certain questions that they have before they could make a decision. And NESA is not telling us that. We are told by the Minister of Electricity, so something's really fishy here.
So, Makoma, you say that something's fishy here, but isn't there actually a strong economic case for nuclear power? Yes, it does take a long time. Koeberg took a long time to build, but it's still working now. And over time, if you do all of the sums, doesn't it turn out that, in fact, Koeberg gives us the cheapest electricity per kilowatt hour that we have on the grid at the moment?
I think it's very risky to still have Koeberg running currently. In the past year and month, we have heard how there have been radioactive leaks coming out from Koeberg, and now there is an issue around that. There's one of the reactors that is not working, the other one is working, and there's been a number of issues related to the safety at Koeberg, and how do we risk wanting to procure or to build more reactors when we know that currently we're sitting with this problem that we don't know how to resolve. I mean, if I was in Cape Town, I would really move away and go to another place, although I may not be that safe because anything can happen at Koeberg Power Station.
Makoma, I'm sorry, but that sounds to me incredibly alarmist. I'm not aware of any leaks of radiation from Koeberg in the recent past. And you still haven't answered the question around the cost. The fact is that Koeberg is probably the cheapest electricity we've ever had. Again, I must make the point. It seems to me incredibly alarmist to say that there have been leaks of radiation at Koeberg. There have been problems with the refurbishment, yes. There was a bolt dropped in a reactor, yes. But no leaks that I'm aware of.
Yes, I think you just need to tap into the news around Koeberg. Then you learn that there has been problems. Was the cost nuclear? It's very expensive. I mean, in the past, when government tried to go ahead with 9.6 megawatts of nuclear electricity, the estimates were around R1 trillion. And when there was a proposal around the pebble bed modular reactor, which are now coming in as small modular reactors, there was about 10 billion rand of South African money, tax money, that was thrown into the drain because that didn't work at all, and this is what we hear resurfacing. So externalized cost of nuclear, it's something unimaginable because waste stays forever and ever, and there's no way all over the world where we can say waste is being saved. Yes, it can be repurposed, but not. We don't have a safe storage place.
Okay, isn't there actually, Makoma, a strong environmental case for nuclear power? I accept what you say about the waste, although there isn't that much of it, but I accept that. The strong environmental case for nuclear power is that there are no emissions. In other words, you produce electricity with no emissions, no climate change. The COP28 climate talks seem to be heading for failure from what I can see. You and I would probably agree on that, Makoma. So if that's what's happening, shouldn't we actually have more nuclear power, not less, because it would mean less warming of the environment.
Yeah, I've heard that story before, that there's no emissions when the nuclear power station is operational. And this is the argument that we hear every time to say nuclear is safe, but nuclear is not a solution to climate change. The carbon intensity of constructing a nuclear plant is far much higher. So it doesn't even equal what you say it doesn't have emissions. And the waste that comes out of the plant, that's where much of the carbon intensity comes.
Makoma, I'm sorry, but to produce a solar-powered plant or a wind-powered plant uses carbon as well.
But less carbon than what you use on so carbon intensive as the nuclear. With nuclear, you also need to have water continuously, and with solar and wind, you may use water once and far less. It's not as carbon intensive as also the nuclear plant does need.
Makoma Lekalakala, thank you, Director at Earth Life Africa. Do appreciate the time.